Live from Las Vegas, it's Keto Cooking. Everybody, welcome back. I'm Tom Garvey, the Keto Cook. Today, I'm going to be making something a little bit different. This is going to go up on Sunday for a Sunday dinner. But actually, Sunday, we helped move my daughter into a new place and my two grandsons. She asked me, Pop, any way you can make dinner for us for Monday? I said, yep, no problem. So the best thing I can come up with would be something fast, something easy. Well, as fast as you can cook in a crock pot. I don't particularly care for cooking in a crock pot. I like to cook conventionally on the stove, but this worked out pretty good. So what I'm making is I'm going to be making a brisket that I'm going to cube up. And also there's quite a few people there, so I'm also going to be making a chuck that I'm going to cube up in the same fashion. And this is going to get slow cooked in the crock pot. Now, like I said, I'm not a big fan of it, but I tell you what, this one worked out pretty good. And this is part of what I mean when I say play with your food. All right. Now, this brisket, I went freezer diving again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to cube this up into smaller pieces. It'll actually help it cook much faster in a crock pot, if you can cook fast in a crock pot. Just what I'm talking about is actually cutting back on the time. So this is going to get cubed up, and first batch is going to go in. And I was kind of surprised because, you know what? It took like about 4 hours. So with that said, this is going to get cubed up and just follow along. All right, now this meat, like I said, is still semi-frozen, which is basically the best time if you're going to be doing this type of cutting, cubing it up and stuff like that. Now I have a heavier knife, and I will trim that fat off. Some fat will stay on, but I will trim most of the fat off. It makes for a little bit more, especially on a brisket. Doing it this way gives a little bit more flavor. All right, adding in my Tommy spice, which is salt, pepper, garlic, and onion. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. I'm going to mix this all together, and also I'm going to be adding in a little bit of other seasoning. There again, I am not a big fan of crock pot cooking, but this actually came out pretty good. I like to season things after. All right, I believe that if you cook it this way, it actually kills some of the taste that you're adding into it, okay? But I'm just adding a little bit more, stir it, add a little bit of salt, garlic, pepper, and onion. That gives it that little enhanced flavor. Now, also, this stuff here that I'm going to be adding in I like this a lot. Now, this is from Uncle Steve's Shakes. That's thick meat. Not a lot. Just going to put it on. Gives it a little bit of heat, a little bit of peppery taste to it. And it's good for this type of meat for brisket. I'm going to just stir this around here. Now, there's one more ingredient I'm going to put into this before I fire up this crock pot here. Is Maggi sauce, Maggi seasoning. And Maggi seasoning I use it a lot in the restaurants. Matter of fact, I used to use it a lot with ribeyes back in the day. Now, 1 gram of carbohydrates. Everybody, I don't like that. It enhances the beef flavor. It does have some sodium in it. Okay, on keto you need sodium. I do anyway. And just a little bit on there is a teaspoon, a little bit more, and off to the races we're going to go. Now, my neighbor Miss J from The Road to Good Cooking, she canned this salsa, and I got to tell you what, this was off the charts good. It did not last long when we had our tacos. This stuff right here is not going with us. That's staying home with me. All right, enough said with that. Now, there it is in a crock pot. We're going to let this thing go. Like I said, the final cook for this brisket right here was about 4 hours. Now, there's the fat that I cut off and stuff. That'll get bagged up, put back in the freezer again, and I'll grind that up. Yeah, that's the time right there, 4 a.m. I get up at 3:30, and I'm trying to figure out the timing of this whole thing and what time to go over to my daughter's. So I did it 4 a.m., and we had plenty of time to get everything cooked and put together. Yep. 4 a.m., went back to sleep for a little bit. Actually, I can't sleep, but there it is. Right there. And trying to go back to sleep and smelling that, wow, man, it was good. All right, let's move. Okay, here's the finished product with the brisket. Now, like I said before, I'm going to add in chuck. And I tell you what, the taste was really, really good. There it is. I didn't think that was enough for the amount of people. Sometimes I do a little overkill, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Nothing worse than to making something and not have enough. So I usually go overboard. Sometimes Marie hates it because you know what? That means she's got to pack it up and put it away. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cube this up in the same fashion as I did the brisket. That's going to go back into the crock pot. Now what I did was I will add the same ingredients to it. I will spare you watching me do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this play out. Okay, cutting up some onions. Now this is Vidalia onion. A lot of times a Vidalia will not have as much sulfur in it to make you cry, but sometimes they will. So what I do is I like to cut them up at least about 1/4 inch, so everything's pretty well uniform. And then I'll take them in and I'll put them in a strainer and run them under ice cold water from the tap water, and that'll stop that acid. That'll keep you from crying. So stop crying, wash them up water, and don't cry. Okay. Now, also that's going to go inside, I'm going to cut up the other onion. But the other thing that's going to go with this is some jalapeno peppers. And also I'm going to be slicing up some plum tomatoes. I'm going to be cubing them up. Try to cut them all into the same fashion. Now, word of caution. If you have never cut a jalapeno pepper before, you want to wear gloves. Because sometimes they're hot and sometimes they're not. But these little jokers right here, they are pretty hot. So, I've been doing this for a long time, and I tell you what, every once in a while, I don't feel like I have the time to put on my gloves, and I cut this thing up here. I touch my eye, you know what happens? Marie laughs. Yeah. So, I'm going to cube these up as I'm crying. And I'm going to also try to make them all the same size. This is important so that you don't, when people are making their little tacos, you want everything pretty much uniform, so you don't have nothing falling out and everything. It just makes it easier for people to make their own tacos. All right. Okay, the dicing of plum tomatoes. And I use plum tomatoes a lot. I like them a lot better. Just that's my preference. I mean, you can use any kind of tomato you want. Try to dice them also in the same fashion as far as the same size. There's multiple ways of slicing it, dicing it. People have different ways of doing it. Pick your own, what you're comfortable with, and go for it. Some people like to do it this other way. I mean, it doesn't matter. As long as you got a sharp knife, cut them up, dice them up. Great on the taco. I mean, really are. All right. All right, let me clean up here a little bit, and we're gonna start putting this all together here. To pack it up, to bring it over to the new home of my daughter and grandkids. There it is. That is the brisket and also the chuck that I put together. Like I said, now see them 2 big pieces of meat. Look at what it came down to. Now here's the little bit of a kicker right here. I'm putting on a little bit of this barbecue sauce that I found, sweet and savory. Now it's almost like an oxymoron, and it says sweet and savory, no sugar added. But this also has 3 carbs per tablespoon. Okay, so I mean, I just put a little bit on there, not enough that's going to affect. Now I base it on me, not enough that's going to affect me or my blood sugar. Like I said, I'm type 2 diabetic, so yeah, it was good, baby. Yes, it was. Now, tacos. There again, that's a cheese taco right there that I make. You could do that. Okay. Also, you can use a little conventional. I like the street tacos. This one is 0 carb, net 0 carb. I don't follow net zero anything or net carbs. That's conventional, 7 carbs per street taco. And yeah, I mean, you don't count. Don't make this difficult on yourself, okay? Eat, but just be conscious of what you're doing with it. I like to add a little lime on mine. That's got some crema on there. This is my favorite right here. This is my go-to. Now, this is from another video, but I just want to show you different vessels that you can use to have your tacos. Or you can just have them on a plate. All right, with that said, hey, I'm Tom Garvey, the Keto Cook. I appreciate everybody stopping by. Hit that like and subscribe button. And you know what? I'll catch you next time. Tom Garvey, the Keto Cook. Thanks, everybody. Be safe.